Hello everyone, my name is Louis Aponte and I am a reference librarian at the Delray Beach Public Library, and thank you so much for joining us for this happy hour video tutorial. We hope that you and your family are safe and that you're doing as well as we can, or as you can during this period of social distancing. And today's tutorial is on editing and managing photos and videos. So let's go ahead and get started. The aim of this particular happy hour is to show you how to make the best of the photography features featured on your phone or tablet, and we're going to take it step by step. I'm going to show you how to shoot photos or video, how to review and select only the ones you want to keep, edit the selected photos, share your favorites with your friends and family, and finally, how to organize your photos and video. Specifically, we're going to show you how you can back up your photos, because over time, that can get into the hundreds and thousands, and you want to make sure you don't lose all those great moments that you enjoy so much. So step one, shooting. I wanted to focus on some of the more common smartphones that are out there on the market, including the LG G7, the Galaxy S9, and the iOS 11 version of the iPhone. And if you notice here, there are a lot of very similar features on the camera apps. Some of them vary just slightly. For example, in the upper left-hand corner, you'll notice a little icon looks like three circles that are kind of overlapping each other. That is typically your filters and or effects. And what that allows you to do is to basically change the quality of the photo that you have. You can make it black and white, you can brighten it, you can make it with more warmer colors or cooler colors. And that's where you would go in order to play with those features. To the right of that, you'll notice a little camera icon that looks like a little circle in the middle with kind of like a recycle symbol. That's how you switch from the front camera to the back camera and so on and so forth. Basically, most smartphones and tablets have both a front camera and a rear camera. So if you're out there in some exotic location and you're the only one holding the phone, nobody's taking the photo for you, you can take a selfie by tapping on that little icon and it'll show the front camera. And at the same time, you can also preview what the image looks like before you actually take the photo. To the right of that, you have a little symbol, looks like a little lightning bolt. That is your flash, and it usually comes with 3 settings, and that's either automatic, on, or off. Typically, you want to go ahead and leave that off because the quality of the photos that come out of smartphones these days are really rich, and they're able to pull out, even in darker settings, they're able to pull out the ambient light in order to make it as best quality as possible. Now, let's say you're taking a photo that has multiple objects in the image itself, and you want to focus on just one particular subject. You would tap anywhere on the screen one time before taking the photo, and the camera knows to focus on that area in particular. And on the bottom left-hand corner, you may notice that there's a little black circle with a red dot. That's typically your video record button, as opposed to the circle that's in the middle, which is your photo shutter button. Other camera features is more like a review. As I mentioned before, in order to focus on a particular area in the photo that you're trying to take, all you have to do is go ahead and tap on the area that you want the camera to focus on. Another feature that a lot of smartphones, most smartphones have, I believe, is called HDR. That's known as high dynamic range. And before, in their traditional cameras, photographers had to take multiple shots in the same exact location using different settings, overexposing, underexposing, and the smartphones do everything for you, so that way you don't have to know anything complex or technical. And so what it does, it brightens the darkest areas and darkens the brighter areas in order to give a lot more vivid detail. Another option on the smartphones, which is more usually for fun or for novelty, is called burst shooting. And you may have seen this online sometimes where people take these, it looks like still photography video in which somebody might be floating in the backyard with their legs crossed, floating in a meditation pose. And so the way they achieve this is by pressing and holding the shutter button in order to take multiple photos quickly. And so they would constantly pull out the ones in which they were seemingly floating in the air to create that illusion. It's a fun effect if you ever get the chance to play with it. Another option is something known as live photo on your Apple devices or motion photo on your Android devices such as Samsung and Google. And what that does, it captures a few seconds of action before and after you take the photo in order to create like a little mini video. Kind of tells the story of how the photo was set up right before it was taken. Now, you could turn it on in the camera settings with your Samsung and Google devices, or you could tap on the little icon that kind of looks like a sun icon on your iPhone. Now, in order to access your camera, most smartphones and tablets, they usually on the home screen, you can access something that looks like a camera icon, or maybe even just the camera lens. So from the iPhone, you would go from the home screen, simply tap the camera icon at the top of the screen. Whereas in Samsung Galaxy, you would double press the home or power button or activate the quick launch camera from the settings and then use the camera shortcut. Whereas the LG G7, from the home screen, same thing, it's on the home screen, except you might notice it's on the bottom of the screen as opposed to the top. Okay, so let's say you can't get close enough to a photo, to a subject that you want to take a photo of, and the way you zoom in is by taking your thumb and your index finger, you keep them together, and you're going to press them against the screen, and then you're going to spread your fingers apart, just like it shows here in the illustration. And then afterwards, I would even recommend tapping on the subject that you're trying to focus on, so that way the camera knows to focus just on that. Okay, I kind of mentioned this in the previous slide. When it comes to flash, as a generalization, you probably will get the best quality photos if you just leave your flash off. In my experience, the few times I've ever used flash, it usually kind of washes out the entire scene and makes it look a little more flat. The latest versions of these Android and iPhones, as well as the tablets, they tend to pull the ambient light even in darker lit rooms in order to give you the best possible quality. Now, when it comes to orientation, there are always exceptions, but as a generalization, landscape is usually the most preferable for when it comes to photos and definitely for videos. There are some social media apps such as Instagram that tend to prefer more portrait orientation. But if you ever have any doubts, definitely, take one of each in either in portrait and in landscape and see what works best for you in terms of your needs. Okay, so what other features can your phone camera do? One of them is screenshots. So let's say you have an important series of text messages you need to get a record of, or maybe you want to show the weather in the area and send it to your friend that lives in North Dakota, because you live in warm South Florida. You can go ahead and take a screenshot. With the iPhone, you would simply press the power and the home button at the same time. Whereas on the Android phones, you want to press the power and volume down, and it'll save it in your gallery. Okay, another thing a lot of people are not aware of is that your mobile devices typically have the option for geotagging. And so basically what that means is anytime you take a photo, your phone will actually record the location in which the photo was taken. It's usually saved in the metadata of the photo itself. But if you don't want that feature to be on, you could also turn this off in your phone or camera location settings. More and more people are applying for jobs and doing a variety of different things with their phones. And one of the things that they often need is to have PDF documents. Maybe they need to, get a scan of their license, for example, or their resume. Well, your phone camera does have the ability to take these photos, and these particular phones have the option to turn it into a PDF file instead of a JPEG, which is a picture file. And if you're not able to see that option available on your camera, there are apps that you can download where you can turn photos into PDFs. And so you just go to your app store, whether it's Google Play or the App Store on iPhone, and see if you can find a PDF generator. Okay, now if you're not happy with all the additional features, or maybe you just want to explore some of the other features that other apps have that are out there have available, you can go to your App Store again, and there are both free as well as paid apps. A free one would be a better camera, and whereas the paid one would be ProShot. They don't cost a whole lot of money, $3.99. Seems like a pretty good deal, but it depends on what your needs are. Play, contrast, see what better suits your needs. Okay, so after you take a photo, you might want to take a look and review the last photo that you took. So in this example, the preview is on the bottom left-hand corner, and you can access that photo by tapping on that little thumbnail at the bottom. just to see how it came out. And oh, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I wish I took it myself. Or you can exit out completely, go to your home page, and then access the native apps that are located for your photos. So for the iPhone, you would go to iPhone Photos, whereas the Android, you would go to your Gallery app, and it might look like any one of these featured on this particular slide. Okay, so as you're reviewing the photos, you have the option to either keep, delete, or you can edit them. And here are some of the common features you might notice at the bottom of the screen after you select a photo. For example, the related button, when you tap on that, it allows you to look at photos that were taken on the same day. Whereas the edit feature allows you to form simple edits. You can choose from different types of filters. As I mentioned before, you can make a photo look black and white. You can make it look warmer, or if you really want to go out there and make it artistic, they have a variety of different filters that you can play with. They have a separate button, if you notice, where it's labeled as number 2. That is your settings button, where you can adjust the lighting and the color, sometimes the contrast. And then on the bottom right-hand corner, number 3, it allows you to crop and or rotate the photo. Because sometimes, you might be pointing your camera down and it's not in the right orientation. So afterwards, you might have to go ahead and rotate it in order to, make it look at the composition that you want it to. Now, once you've finished making those changes, you always want to make sure you hit save or save changes before exiting. A lot of people, they might just hit the home button and think that the changes were saved, and you want to make sure you always hit save. Okay, and one of the more common features is the ability to share photos. So when you find a photo that you like, you'll notice that little icon on the right-hand side represented by 3 circles connected by a line, and that allows you to send a photo either via text message or email, or you can save it to your cloud storage, or post them directly to one of your social media apps that you have installed on your phone, such as Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever you prefer. Okay, so how do you organize your photos? Well, the photos and gallery apps, typically they automatically organize your photos into pre-installed files. So either whether they're based on a video, or they're live photos, or panorama, like some phones, like my phone, for example, has the ability to do a 360-degree panorama, so that'll have a separate folder all by itself. You cannot delete these default albums, but you can create additional ones. So for example, on your iPhone, you would launch the Photos app from your home screen, and you'd go ahead and tap on Albums at the bottom of the screen if you're not there already. And then you'll notice a little plus sign up in the upper left-hand corner. Go ahead and tap on that. Okay, and then you hit New Album. And then you'll notice a little pop-up window will show up, and you want to go ahead and give that album a name. Maybe it's a certain date or a location. Maybe you went on a cruise to Costa Rica, for example. Maybe you want to name this album Costa Rica. Okay, and then after you're done, you want to make sure you hit Save. Very important. Whereas on your Android, you would open the Gallery app from your phone's homepage. You want to tap on the Albums tab, which is on the upper left-hand corner in this example. And then you want to go ahead and tap on the 3 dots, that's the universal symbol for a menu. Okay, and when you get that little drop-down menu, you want to tap on New Album. Again, you're going to see a little pop-up window show up. You go ahead and give it a name. Now, this example, it doesn't give you the option to save. It says Add Files. So that's basically another word for save. So depending on what kind of Android device you have, it might say Add Files, or it might say Save. So, but just make sure you name it something that's easy for you to recognize. Okay, backing up your photos. Well, if you're like me and you hold on to your phone for several years, you don't realize that you have hundreds, sometimes even thousands of photos saved on this device, and they're holding some of your most precious memories. And you want to make sure you back up all of your photos, all your files, period, on another source, whether it's the cloud or your laptop or a USB or a combination of all 3. And so Apple and Google do provide a way in which you can synchronize your photos from your phone straight to their cloud services by going through the settings. However, if you don't feel comfortable leaving your personal files on the cloud, another option is to get a USB cord from your phone into your laptop and then to go ahead and transfer files that way. A third option, if you're a little bit more tech savvy, is to go ahead and transfer your files wirelessly through Bluetooth or through your Wi-Fi at home. Okay, final tips. Even though this camera is very small, you want to make sure you keep it nice and clean. Usually a microfiber cloth will do the trick. And take a ton of photos. One of the great benefits of having a digital camera is that anything you don't like, you can go ahead and delete it. The more photos you shoot, the more comfortable you'll be using the device, and the better chance you'll have of getting the perfect shot. But keep in mind, you do have only so much memory, so anything you don't want, make sure you delete those as soon as possible, because you never know when a great opportunity to take a good photo will come up, and you don't want it to be limited by the amount of memory that you have on your phone. Okay? Experiment, with your shots. Try different angles, high angles, low angles. You might surprise yourself. Who knows? It might be good enough for you to enter a contest and win some money. And fourth, and most importantly, have fun. Because that's what this is all about. Some additional resources you might want to check out. They are free. One of them is called gcflearnfree.org. It's a free online tutorial, and some classes you might want to check out is Image Editing 101, Instagram, and sharing photos online. And once the library opens up again at the Delray Beach Public Library, come check out our nonfiction area to find books on your specific mobile device. And the area you'll be looking at, the call number will be 004.167. If you have a hard time finding where that is, or if you just forgot what number it is, just come to the reference desk. We're more than happy to help you. And in the meantime, please connect with us online. We are on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. We'd love to hear from you. We miss our patrons very much, and we really appreciate you tuning in. So we'll see you next time, and have fun.